And notice the next phrase in verse 1. And there shall be a time of trouble and stress. Well, I would think so, wouldn't you? If Satan is cast to the earth, there's going to be a heap of trouble, especially if he's incarnated into the Antichrist. It's easy to see that the first half of the verse pertains to Michael, and the last half of the period of the Great Tribulation. But it's difficult to accept the connection between the two. When Micah arises, the time of Israel's trouble begins. At first it doesn't seem possible. Micah is Israel's prince. Chapter 10, verse 21. The great prince who stands guard over the sons of Daniel's people, Isaiah chapter 12, verse 1. How could the protector of Israel participate this time of such great suffering? Notice that the word in chapter 12, verse 1, it says trouble, or the word distress. Literally, the word trouble is the word stress. Literally gives the idea of something which is narrow, tight, or confirming, or figuratively describes great pain, anguish, or suffering affecting the body and the mind. That's what it's in that word trouble. A term which originally expressed sheer physical pressure, as when pressure is on our whole body, it grips us. It conveys the idea of being squeezed or placed under pressure or crushed beneath the weight. Some of us will say, but I have been under a lot of pressure lately. Hello? None of us have been under that much pressure like those in this time is going to face. You know, we can take an aspirin or some kind of Xanax or something other to release the pressure, but there is nothing that we can take during the tribulation period that's going to release the pressure that people are going to be under at this war that's going to go on. When, according to the ancient law of England, those who willfully refused to plead guilty had heavy weights placed on their breast and were pressed and crushed to death. And that's the Greek term that is used that's the Hebrew word translated to Greek, which means that figuratively it pictures one crushed by intense pressure, difficult circumstances, suffering or trouble pressing upon them from without, which gives the idea of persecution, affliction, opposition, tribulation, all pressed hard on one soul. I don't think we can imagine that. The pressure on us just seeing what's going to take place during this time is enough to crush us under the weight. And this identifies the future event. An event that is not equal in history. It's a time of despair. So then, the underlying meaning of being under pressure was used to squeeze olives in a press in order to extract the oil, and of squeezing grapes to extract the juice. And so Scripture uses the word, perhaps most often used as outward difficulties, but it's also used as an emotional stress. So not only is there going to be an emotional stress during that time, it's going to be physical stress as well. Notice how much. Notice in verse 1 it says, such as never was seen, there was a nation even to that same time. It never occurred to anyone. The tribulation period is a time, if you will, Joel. Can you find Sharon? Joel 3.
I don't know.
And if you can, and then see if you can find Amos.
I found Jonah.
See if you can find Amos. The tribulation period is a time for punishing the Gentile nations for the way they had sinned against the Jews. And that's in Joel 3, 2 through 8. You found? All right, read chapter 3, verses 2 through 8.
Wait, hold on, I brought my glasses.
Oh, I forgot. You didn't have your glasses.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people
Chapter 9.
and for my heritage
Chapter 9.
Israel, whom are whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Okay, then it's also a time of sifting and purging Israel and preparing the Jews for the return of the Messiah. Amos chapter 9. Verses 9 through 12. Richard.
Lo, I will command and will sift the house of Israel among the nation, among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say that evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. In that day I will rise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and will raise up his ruins, and will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this.
Notice next it says, and at that time, thy people shall be delivered. We'll discuss that in a minute. Everyone, who's going to be delivered? Everyone that shall be found written in the book.
Right.
Okay? According to Zacharias, chapter 3, verse 9. Zacharias, chapter 13. 1/3 of Israel is saved and enters into the millennial age of blessing. Those who flee Jerusalem through the mountain valley of the Mount Olives will survive the tribulation. Write down in Zechariah 14:4.
You say something in 13 now?
13:9 says 1/3 of Israel will be saved. Not all of Israel will be saved, but 1/3. Israel will finally understand Jesus was the Messiah. He came and suffered for the sins of humanity. Isaiah chapter 52.
Wait a minute, what was in 14?
14:4. Those who flee Jerusalem from the mountain valley of Mount Olives will survive the tribulation. And then in Isaiah 52, 13 and 12. Isaiah chapter 52, 12.
12 and 13.
I'm sorry, it's 52, 13 through 53, 12. 52, verse 13 through 53, verse 12. When Israel cries out to Jesus, he will return as promised before he was crucified, but not until Israel recognizes him as their Messiah. In Matthew 23, verses 38 and 39. Matthew 23, 38 and 39. You want to find that? You want to find that, what's her name, Lois? 38 and 39.
But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him.
23?
I turned the wrong one.
23. What did I say?
You said 23, verse 38.
23 verses 20. That didn't sound like what I wanted.
38 and 39.
38 and 39.
Last two verses.
38.
38, yeah. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till you shall say, Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
And when they finally see Jesus as the Messiah, he will return. Isn't that neat? Christ returns with the armies of heaven in Revelation 19 to a repentant Israel who understands Jesus the Messiah, Christ, is their only hope. Boy, it's sure going to take a whole lot to get Israel to believe that Jesus is the Messiah and is going to take the Great Tribulation. At this point, Israel is restored, and the millennial is put in motion, starting with the resurrection of the saints that had been killed during that time. Notice it says, it refers to God's book of life. We'll talk about that maybe in just a few moments. Referring to God's book of life, in which there is a record of all the names of the saved. Some will be rescued, delivered out from the Great Tribulation. Some, by the way, this is not a universal salvation at all, but those whose names are in the book. Those who are going to be saved are those who have their name already written in the book. Every time someone gets saved, God doesn't have an angel to go to the book and put them in. I guess if it was written today, it would say computer, right? It would go to the computer and put it into some website.
You know, Charles,
What?
I actually